Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and we are back with more reactions to DC's Titans. This time, continuing Season 3 on to Episode 2. Last time, with the season premiere, we had Jason dying, getting his head bashed in right off the bat, pretty much like a Walking Dead Season 7 Episode 1 Season 7 premiere, only with much less gore. They pretty much did actually hold back on showing us the entire thing playing out, and also exactly like the detail, like of nowhere near Walking Dead level, just kind of just enough to know that that Joker was indeed giving him the crowbar treatment, as it's been aptly kind of named. So he did kind of take a crowbar to Jason's head and back several times until he probably was appropriately dead. So I am. Knowing that, I think two things, right? Knowing that, I am very curious as to exactly how, physically speaking, how Jason does come back, because if he does come back, then that must mean that it's either not him that they pick up from the crime scene, or I don't know, because again, I really can't see him crawling out from the family lot in which Bruce has had his coffin buried. I can't see it happening. I think, not to say it won't happen, but I just kind of it seems unlikely for now. But yeah, I am most curious as to how he's going to come back, and what that's going to mean is buried under Wayne Manor, and what they actually found or picked up at the crime scene, if he still comes back, and if he's also still left alive enough to come back too. Maybe the damage wasn't actually that severe, or maybe he's still, or I think maybe it's like if the damage was severe, maybe if the damage was severe enough, because I think we've seen he has PTSD from being killed by Deathstroke, or from nearly being killed by Deathstroke. So then maybe being killed by someone as bad as the Joker is what finally, and like the physical and mental trauma of that is what finally sends him off the rails too. Like, he's always kind of believed that, I think, and also being killed by someone like the Joker, I think that could also trigger him to actually understand who the Joker is and just how bad he is, and then actually try and take out anyone in Gotham who's exactly like him too. So I think maybe it's actually going to activate more in him than just kind of some kind of anger or bloodlust. It's actually going to make him kind of realize, exactly where the true evil lies in Gotham, and make him kind of root that out, and get rid of it in some way. So I'm interested to see exactly how all that stuff unfolds. And I also did a bit of research, not necessarily comic research, but I did kind of slightly Google into Red Hood's kind of backstory, and apparently way back when, the writers actually didn't know what to do. I think I read that the writers of the comic in which he died didn't actually know how to proceed with his character, so then they literally left it up to the fans in one issue and actually told them, okay, so here's how the story's going to go. So Joker's captured Jason, and you can either vote if he lives or if he dies. So then majority of the voters actually voted for Jason to die, so then he did, but then the writers actually then decided to bring him back later on as a Red Hood. So then the the writers, the readers are actually at least owed partial credit towards the creation of of Red Hood and his stories and everything, because then the writers, I think, were kind of lost, or maybe they were actually looking for some fan inspiration, and then they kind of killed him off. So then I think I kind of have to believe that it was because they didn't know how to continue with him as Robin, but then actually having him killed as Robin then gave them more creative kind of leeway to bring him back as an even darker and more dangerous character, and actually give him that much more of a interesting and enticing kind of future. So that was a cool little tidbit. But yes, I do still have to get into some Red Hood comics and see exactly what happens there. But yeah, Jason did die, and the team kind of found out in their own way. And I mean, not a lot of mourning going on. I feel like maybe episode 2 should be where everyone actually gets a chance to do some kind of mourning, because it felt like there was less mourning going on in the last episode, and more kind of investigating too, more investigating as to why it happened, how it happened, like Dick discovering that he was apparently reading up on chemistry books, and then found out he was actually manufacturing his own drugs out of a loft in Gotham, and we even see him actually consuming them in the beginning to actually deal with the PTSD stuff too. So Dick then decided to research into that and see what he was actually doing. So that was him. And then Bruce, Bruce is just Bruce. Bruce is not known to be an emotional guy. He is not known to kind of be open or vulnerable like that. Like, to him, that is pretty much a weakness that would actually compromise Batman's strength and integrity as a character. So with Bruce, it's been instilled in, like, he's instilled in himself that he can't really be open or anything like that. So then he kind of, I mean, out of being broken and also somewhat corrupt, he then actually moved on to finding like a new like a new Robin. Um, Not even like 2 nights after Jason had died, and also I think Barbara's um, we also met Barbara Gordon, and she had a piece of her own mind to actually give to give Bruce as she confronted him that night too. So Bruce just was not doing too well. So then Dick just kind of felt like he had no choice but to kind of leave him to his own devices and be like, sure, if you want to go screw yourself up and not be Batman without Robin, then don't be Batman. So yeah, and then I think finally drove Bruce over the edge to the point where he killed Joker. Just like season 1's ending, only season 3 it actually comes into fruition. He literally, I have to assume that he actually did dress up as Batman, and then break into Arkham Asylum where Joker had been taken back to, and then actually beat him to death. And he said he beat him to death with a crowbar too. So. And then upon that kind of one last proper kill, he promptly retired as Batman and told Dick to be a better Batman. So yeah, it was a hectic season opener. It was a very, very hectic season opener. So I can only imagine how much worse things get from here on out, and how the Titans have to kind of deal with Red Hood once he becomes a more prominent figure. I mean, I think 8 people died. 8 bodies were found scattered around Gotham, soon after Jason's death was reported and all that stuff happened. So, again, it's I don't know how soon. I think Jason might be coming back as Jason in his own time, right, before he comes up as Red Hood. I think, before, because I think there's been no sightings of Red Hood at all. So I feel like that is actually if it is Jason behind those killings, then it could be Jason coming back as Jason before he decides to finally suit up as Red Hood and actually officially go after the criminals of Gotham. So yeah, I am intrigued. I am very, very intrigued. So they're doing that. The Titans are back. We saw a very, very cool fight scene with Nightwing and Beast Boy and Superboy and Crypto and Starfire taking out some local kind of drug dealers in San Francisco and everything. So they are still predominantly based in San Francisco, but I feel like after what's happened, maybe it's incredibly likely that Dick will be bringing the Titans back to Gotham and actually having them operate out of the Batcave instead, and having them be based in Gotham now, and especially with Red Hood being based in Gotham now. So this season is kind of taking that kind of location shift too. So I think it will be cool to see just how much more of Gotham they can actually explore in this kind of show, and how much more of its culture, and I mean, I say culture, pretty much criminal culture and stuff they can actually explore, and how many other kind of Easter eggs we might get, or how many other kind of world building kind of references we might get. So that should be fun to see. But we had Barbara Gordon being introduced, and she's the commissioner. She's the new commissioner after her father did not just leave, but he also died. He was killed by one of Batman's oldest enemies, Mr. Freeze. He was frozen in a block of ice and then promptly had a cardiac arrest, and then he unfortunately died, which then passed the kind of job and mantle of being commissioner of the GCPD down to Barbara Gordon. So she's in charge now. So very much looking forward to seeing how she operates in this show, and what she's like, and what she does and everything. So that will be fun to see. And she's again already had her own kind of time with the Joker, having been shot by him and now being in a wheelchair and everything. So yeah, she seems fun. And then we also very, very briefly met Tim Drake too. Tim Drake, we got the most human introduction for. We just kind of pretty much introduced him as a person, showing us what he does, how he works, and his family and his background and everything. And he lives in Gotham, and he's a huge fan of Batman and Robin, which I think does kind of match up pretty accurately with what his actual kind of comic book backstory is. So yeah, interested to see more of him too. So it should be a fun continuation into the rest of the season. But yeah, I believe that is pretty much it. I think now, again, just hoping to see more of the Titans actually processing Jason's kind of loss before he officially returns as what might just be one of their greatest kind of rivals and everything. So yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun. But that is pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to episode 2, the reaction for episode 2. And as you guys will know, this is just going to be the fair use version, so it's just going to be the highlights and the best bits. But if you want to catch any reactions that don't make it into this cut, then you can go and catch the full-length version, which is the unedited reaction to the entire episode, and you can watch the entire episode along with me in that reaction. That one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there, and that will be just as much fun. But yeah, on to Titans, Season 3, Episode 2. Let's go. Is that really meant to achieve anything, just firing off randomly into open space, really? Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Straight for the head. Yeah, I would love to see if this has to be Red Hood, right? This has to be him. It's him! It's Red Hood! I would love to see if he predominantly masters, like, headshots and shit. Yeah. He looks so good!
The bag.
He looks so good. Oh god, all stocked up in body armor and a cool red mask.
No more bat signals. The nightmare's over. Any problems with cops or other masks, I take care of it from now on. It'll cost you 40% of what you make. And trust me.
What's he doing?
You're about to make a lot more.
Oh, jeez, right again. Yep, just full on headshots. He does not mess around. Joker went for his head, so now he's going after everyone's head. Yeah. Is that an actual kid though? You said it was Danny's kid? Or something? It was like his sister's kid? Jason, are you killing kids?
Any more questions?
That's not very Red Hood. That's not very Red Hood. Washington. We're gonna see Falcon running by. Oh no, different universe. Different universe. Is that Hank? Hank's rocking a tash now.
You said you were undercover before this?
Yeah,
Oh jeez.
Vice?
I was with a special branch of law enforcement before this.
Like Secret Service?
In costumes, yeah.
I was a bird, Todd. A big red bird with latex talons and a composite beak-like helmet.
Do they not know about the Titans? Do they not know about Hawk? He was famous in San Francisco. A mugger, a run-of-the-mill mugger. Dove!
That was fast.
Yeah. He practically delivered himself to me.
Oh, she looks
Wanna
so
grab
good.
a coffee?
I can't leave now, can I?
Oh, you really
How
can't.
crazy that is, right? Trying to step into your father's shoes.
I do, Commissioner Gordon.
Mm.
Any other headlines?
I'm bringing in the Titans.
Neat.
Are you sure about
Introduce
that?
them to the Batcave. Gar will freak the fuck out. Gar will freak the fuck out.
Your family would never let you do this alone.
See, Dawn
we
calling
see
them
the Batcave?
family is the only version of family I believe.
No.
The Batmobile?
Guys,
What? You made me ask.
I didn't.
There'll be enough time for all of that, but right now we need to focus on the task at hand. She's terrified.
A red hood. A red hood. Oh, a red hood. I just clocked that. A red hood.
Joker started out his career wearing one.
He did.
It might be related.
Oh, she left the bag behind. Oh, because it's a bomb. The bag was a bomb. Okay. That was Nightwing questioning her. Nightwing's questioning her. Yeah, well, they need to talk to Nightwing. They need to talk to Nightwing.
Who asked to speak to me?
Yeah. Can't get over how good that damn suit looks. Can't get over it.
735 720 2660.
Huh. Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa. Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh. And she killed herself. So was it some kind of poison triggered by a biological phone call? Ah, Jim Gordon. Ah.
I wasn't going to mention this, but for cases like these, we've been using a consultant, a profiler.
Mr.
And we've
Dr.
gotten good
Crane.
results, but you're not going to like it.
Dr. Crane.
Okay.
Scarecrow.
What?
Told you you wouldn't like it.
Yeah. Can't expect
You know-
any other reaction.
Batman put him in Arkham years ago for a reason. You're taking advice from a fucking crazy person.
It was Bruce's idea.
Ah, Bruce trusting criminals.
He thought that Crane had value, and so far he's been right.
Hmm.
I, Richard D. Grayson, under no circumstances, not death, nor love, nor loneliness will ever give comfort to fear.
A contract by Bruce? A contract drawn up by Bruce? Oh boy, another vision. Another vision. Oh boy. Who are these people? Why are they taking her?
What are you doing?
What? Don't put food on his books, man. Were you raised in a barn?
That's true, back.
His dad was. One of his dads was.
Does Superman have a library?
Yeah, it's called the Fortress of Solitude.
know.
Giant.
I feel like he's got a whole bunch of space rocks and shit.
Hey, Corey, you gotta check this out. It's
Oh, speak another language.
Corey?
She's in a vision state and she's speaking another language. Like, Tamaranian, maybe?
Corey, talk to me.
Oh boy, fire. Oh, nice, cool breath. Cool breath. You just set fire to Bruce Wayne's kitchen. So is this what she did last time then? Just kind of went into visions, started talking Tamaranian, and then just walked outside and...
Tell me that was a grace fire.
Yeah.
What's going on?
We had a death in the family.
Really? Right, I mean, you know what? No, nice touch. Very, very nice touch. Very nice touch.
If it happens again, call me. Maybe I can prescribe something.
Well, she is an alien.
Thanks.
So...
And if it doesn't happen again, you can call me anyway.
Because I feel like they got to be premonitions of some kind. They got to be premonitions.
Arkham isn't really a venue for depressants.
Gotham PD actually has you on the payroll?
When I'm a good little doggy, they give me my treats.
Weed.
A woman killed herself today, Doctor.
You got rolling papers?
So did Barbara literally send him with all the gear necessary, knowing...
I love you, brother.
Somebody installed a subdermal drug pump in her arm.
Yeah, Barb sent over a cheat sheet. The vicious
Barb.
little fucker, this one. The king moves stealthily in the shadows while the pawns are sent into the teeth of destruction so that he may advance.
And you got all that from the police cheat sheet?
Yeah. The note, it's written on the back of a page, torn from a chess manual.
Oh, it's a chess manual, not a chemistry book.
It's just his opening move.
Hmm.
Let's get a list of all the Gotham streets with bird names.
Huh. Oh god, how many Birdnet, Finch Street, Eagle Crest? 5, okay.
Bluebird, Condor Court,
Condor
Finch
Court,
Street,
Finch.
Falcon Way, and Eagle Crest.
Okay. Not gonna lie, I was half expecting Pigeon Avenue. I was half expecting Pigeon Avenue or something.
I pedaled as fast as I could.
Hey! Hank!
How you doing?
Hank shows up.
About time, everybody.
Uh,
You suiting up?
the gang's back together, partially anyway. Yeah, oh, Hank's back.
What the fuck? That doesn't look like an overnight bag.
This is Gotham. If you're gonna dove, I'm gonna hawk.
Hell yeah, let's reunite Hawk and Dove. Come on. Come on, the Titans are all needed for this. Don't know when it's time for her to rise like Amazon Jesus. Hawk and Dove are back. Hawk and Dove are back. Yeah. So, what is Jason actually doing? Red Hood. This doesn't even sound like something Red Hood should be doing. Does he start out villainous, then he goes anti-hero, or what happens? Is he just doing this to get back at the Titans, or?
Call your men off and let us handle it.
If you're wrong, this is gonna be a bloodbath.
We got this.
Come on. If this goes wrong too, she's gonna have a bad reputation as the commissioner. Yeah, if this goes south in any way, then the commissioner's gonna have a bad rep. Oh, more. Other hostages? Oh, the X-ray vision, that's cool. The X-ray vision.
Connor?
Who the hell are these guys? It does the parents. Who the hell are these guys?
They aren't the parents. Now it's over.
They're not the parents. They're all... Oh god, they're professionals. They're all professionals. And they all gone now? They're all gone. They all made out.
I stood down for you tonight. Nobody else could have convinced me to do that. It wasn't professional.
Right. Keep it professional.
Hmm.
The city is on edge, and it's my job to protect them, not yours. This is a police matter.
Oh, great.
What you eating?
Gar made it, I think. Some kind of meat thing.
Some kind of meat thing.
That's Crypto's.
Meat stuff for crypto. Is it dog food? Is it earth? Is it earth dog food? Is it earthly dog food or like some kind of?
That'll go with Barbara.
Trust Hank to just pick up food and eat it, no matter. Yeah.
There's nothing going on. It was good to see the Hawk today.
Hmm.
Yeah, it felt good.
Look good. Though Don tells me you rocked the bike shorts back in D.C.
Oh yeah.
Hey, those are pursuit and attack shorts, motherfucker. Whoever this is fucking with us, he's going down.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
We're gonna be the ones to do it. So chin fucking up, amigo.
I will say it's good to see a friendship reignited with them again. We haven't really had that for a long time. At least I don't feel like it's good to see Hank and Dick getting on again.
We're looking at this the wrong way. The answer isn't figuring out more of Bird's opening moves. It's how we beat it.
I wouldn't. He's on a roll.
Fromm's Gambit, the modern defense.
Hobbs Powder Group. They used to make explosives.
Huh.
Batman and I shut them down for street dealing.
There's a 911.
Oh, so also going to places that Batman has been before too, stopping, going back to places that Batman has stopped.
They took her inside. He had a hood over his head. A red hood.
That sounds like a doctored phone call.
He's leading them into a trap.
Yeah, that sounds like a really doctored phone call.
I don't think she's taking my calls.
Hey there.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, melt the gun. Melt the gun. Oh boy. Yeah. Simple as.
All clear here.
Got here as soon as I could.
Thought I was gonna have to hire a Skyrider. Nice work on the chess crew, though.
Wasn't me. Looks like you had a team too.
They were expendable. Just like the Titans.
Oh damn! Oh god, a Nightwing versus Red Hood fight. Nightwing versus Red Hood.
Who are you?
Jeez, he looks so good. He looks so cool. Oh. Oh. Yep, reloading like a master.
Just throw in the towel and I promise I'll be gentle.
Jeez. Oh, he caught the stick. He caught the stick. Oh. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh, he's got a knife. Oh, he's got a knife. Oh, this is like Cat versus the Winter Soldier. Oh, boy. Oh, he broke the mask. He broke the mask. Can we see a glimpse of the face? Can we see her?
Bruce always told me you were better than me with the toys.
Jason?
In living color.
Oh, damn.
You'll be hearing a lot around here.
Red Hood.
Red Hood.
Oh, God. Oh, boy. That was such a good reveal. That was such a good reveal. Oh, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. Oh god, ending with a Red Hood reveal is very, very well done. That is very well done. Damn, that was a great ending. That was a fantastic ending. Fantastic ending. Like I think having the reveal be the thing to actually end it off on is an extremely high note to end it off on. But a very interesting episode. A very, very interesting episode. I think it definitely works. Like in terms of story, it definitely works as like obvious kind of setup for Red Hood and what he is and who he is. But I mean, at least for me, kind of like with the knowledge and understanding as limited as my knowledge and understanding on Red Hood are, I think it still kind of feels like very, very unfamiliar kind of understanding. Because I think I mean, I say that, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like maybe that is actually how it is, because I remember I remember there being the same experience with the Arkham Knight game too. With Arkham Knight, like, he didn't. I think he became Red Hood afterwards, after he was revealed as Jason, and then after that he rebelled against Scarecrow and saved Batman. That was when he became Red Hood and everything. But then before that, when he was just the Arkham Knight, he was still actively committing crimes and going against the city and going against Batman and everything. So then I feel like maybe he does really have like actual criminal origins before becoming like the anti-hero Red Hood that people are actually aware of. So yes, I mean, so his origins here kind of surprised me in that sense, but I think thinking about it now, it's like, you know what, maybe he does actually start off this way, and then eventually he becomes, yeah, so, interesting. So yeah, I mean, we had it with him, we started off with him actually meeting several different gangs of Gotham in one place, and actually luring them there, making them think that one of the others had called the meeting and everything, so he managed to actually bait them all into one trap and stuff, and then he kind of gifted them with a severed head that I think one of the guys said was of a child or something, like his sister's kid or something. So that one shocked when he said it was his sister's kid. Like, that one shocked me. Like, okay, wow, Jason's actually beheading children now and actually doing that. Like, because of that, just kind of like, again, doesn't really feel like a Red Hood thing, but. I mean, even for Origins, I think you'd think maybe he would kill, but, like, he'd still kill with boundaries, but then maybe, I thought, maybe those boundaries don't become clear, or maybe those boundaries aren't fully enforced until he becomes that kind of Red Hood that only goes after criminals, so yeah, I don't know, but that opening kind of confusing. But then I think what was cool, I think what was cool was that like him going for the headshots, he doesn't waste time at all with body shots, and I feel like it's interesting kind of symbolism with the I mean, on the one hand it's interesting symbolism. On the other hand, I think it's kind of symbolism of maybe two different things. One, the Joker having actually bashed, or at least tried to bash his innocence. I mean, I wonder if he's still alive, then how bad the actual blunt force trauma might be. Like, if there's scarring, or like if there's injuries, or if maybe like it actually did kind of give him some kind of brain damage or what happened. But either way, because Joker actually mixed it up between headshots and back shots and overall body shots. Maybe there was still blunt force trauma, but just not enough to kill him. So then maybe it's just like the trauma, the actual psychological trauma that sent him into this kind of killing kind of frenzy, and that's why he's become a new person, among other things, among other reasons. But so I think maybe the symbolism of Joker actually beating his head in with a crowbar, maybe that kind of symbolism of he was, someone tried to, like a psychopath tried to kill him with headshots, and now he kills other people with headshots and actually passes that cycle down. But also and especially for the lethality, he believes in actually doing the kill right, and he believes in actually putting people down for good. So, he knows, like, for one thing, no need to waste bullets with several hundred different body shots before you finally get them to actually fucking die. But also just like the simplicity, the execution, the one hit kind of kill, just it just gets the job done. And I think him being him, he could also very easily pride himself on that too. So yeah, Red Hood, and again, he looks great. He looks great. He looks amazing. I can't help but wonder where he actually got his suit from, because I would say that I don't know if he'd be able to come up with the suit himself, but I would trust that maybe he'd be resourceful. Maybe as he came back, he would also actually try and sneak a peek into Bruce's like resource books, or maybe Bruce's contacts. I don't think Stu would actually make him a suit. Stu would never know to actually see Jason coming. Even if he did get Jason, he'd probably have to report that into Bruce immediately and actually do something like that. So maybe, and I don't think, I don't know, now I'm wondering if maybe he actually did go in, but then he killed Stu. Maybe he actually did go in and asked him nicely not to tell Bruce, but then Stu said no, he had to, and then maybe he killed them, or maybe just out of actually tying up loose ends, maybe he actually went in, got a new suit, or made a new suit by himself, and then killed them and destroyed the lab or something. I don't know, I'm given what he's been doing so far, I would really not put it against him to actually make one, to have Stu, or like use that lab in any way possible to make one final suit and then burn that lab and everyone in it down to the ground. So I would not put it past him entirely. But But he looks really good. He looks so good, just stocked up in body armor, got the cool red kind of back kind of emblem on his chest, and he's got the cool kind of mask too, with the voice modulator and everything. I think the voice modulator, I feel like it works just enough. It works just enough, and I think, you know, at some points you can really tell that's definitely Jason. That's definitely Jason with an actual modulated voice and everything. So, especially with the phone call, I mean, with the phone call, the first thing I recognized was that it was actually kind of fairly obviously bugged or doctored in some way, like faked in some way. But then and then the more I kept talking, I was like, wait, that actually does sound kind of like Jason actually trying to bait them into something. So then yeah, but the voice modulation actually works really well. And I think I love that even in that final reveal scene, I love that, you know, like with the mask actually broken, because I think it was like a good chunk of the mask too. Like you actually saw like a recognizable portion of his actual face. So, you know, like enough of the mask was broken that half of the modulator was working, but then half of it was still Jason's natural voice bleeding through and everything. So I cannot wait to see how Karen Walters pulls this thing the fuck off, and how he does Red Hood and stuff like that. But yeah, the suit looks amazing, and he's got like a whole kind of like, yeah, I think he's got like a whole kind of arsenal of like guns and kind of, he got the whole knife thing going on. Like that final fight scene honestly reminded me of that final fight scene, the reveal, the way everything happened. Like it honestly reminded me of the reveal scene from the Winter Soldier. I think, and this whole kind of and like pretty much this whole kind of arc of Jason dying and then being resurrected as Red Hood gives me major Winter Soldier vibes. It actually gives me pretty major kind of Winter Soldier vibes of like, you know, like someone dying and then being presumed dead for long enough for stuff to go down, and then them coming back, but then them coming back in the most badass and deadliest way possible too. So definitely major Winter Soldier vibes there, and also like, you know, that final fight scene too, like the combat in it again, and actually him switching from like a gun to a knife too, just like, you know, just like Cat versus Bucky from Winter Soldier all over again. So that was really well done. A much more short-lived kind of fight scene, albeit, but you know, still very, very cool to watch. And you know, good to know that Nightwing's S3E2 are still powerful and strong enough to actually break off an actual metal mask. I mean, I would trust that. I mean, granted, Nightwing's S3E2 are still kind of actually powerful kind of weapons and stuff, and that I think I feel like they're meant to be able to break almost anything, but they're also kind of meant to be strong enough to endure any kind of damage too. So I feel like that kind of makes sense. But then also, I would trust that Red Hood's mask as well is still constructed as something equally strong. Because I think as much as he avoids gunfire, I would like to think that there's just like, you know, like just as a precaution, he also does reinforce it to be bulletproof too. So just in case someone, by any means necessary, in case someone does get like a lucky shot in, then it's still like, you know, like it's not really lucky. It's lucky enough to be on target, but not lucky enough to actually penetrate. So then it actually just bounces off the head and stuff like that. I mean, he might still get hit, but then it just doesn't actually go through or anything. So I mean, I would trust that, you know, like it's strong enough there. So then by that logic, then the only thing capable of actually even shattering it even slightly would be Nightwing's weaponry, something made of like a similar build quality and a bit similar materials and similar kind of made by a similar person too. So yeah, but yeah, that fight scene was really cool. That reveal scene was really well done. I especially loved that too. It's like, you know, I think they still held themselves back from going like for like a full face reveal, just enough, like the eyes and like this kind of portion of the face too, like again enough to recognize, but the mask, like the Red Hood thing, is still there, so it kind of shows that, you know, that's all the Jason you get to see, because that's all the Jason that's there. It's just the face, like the person under there is no longer the same. So now you got a whole new person. Even him saying like, you know, I've got a new name now. You're gonna be hearing it for a while now on the streets. It's Red Hood. I am the Red Hood. I'm the one who's been conducting all the shit and actually luring you into traps and everything. So yeah, kind of makes you feel like, you know, Hank's gonna think differently about his kind of line about taking down the fucker behind all of this if he finds. I mean, well, knowing how he treated Jason in season 2, he probably would feel kind of, you know, indifferent. He probably wouldn't really feel that different at all to this. He'd probably still be like, okay, maybe that little punk needs to be taught a lesson or something. So yeah, but I don't know, but yeah, no, that final reveal and the fight scene, just top notch. But yeah, I mean, again, reiterating the fact that Red Hood seems to have some kind. I mean, again, from my perspective, from my limited kind of consumption of his backstory and his origins, he seems to have very, very unusual kind of origins and everything, like him using innocent people and keeping hostages and everything. Well, I think that is mostly applicable to the bank thing with Anne, where the people died and when she died too, and then with the hostages. But then I think with the actual kind of gunmen in the bank, they were professionals. I think it's because he allied with them. I think those are the ones. I think even Dick actually pointed them out as Perez's men from the beginning. So I think it's because he actually allied with those criminals and allied with the gangs in the very beginning. He told them, Batman's retired, the city's mine now. So I think he promised them something like protection money, or like he promised to help them like deal with the cops. He said any opposition or any cops that show up when you do your thing, I'll sort them out. So I think he offered them some level of protection or like assistance or something. So I think him helping criminals is definitely like an interesting. I feel like knowing Red Hood 2, knowing the direction he's likely headed in, I think that's also like a cover up too. Like he allies with them for now, he gets close to them, so then that way, when the time comes to jump the boat, he can not only do that, but then he can take all of them out in one fell swoop too. So then they believe that Red Hood is somehow this new kind of criminal that no one can seem to stop. But then once the time comes, he actually reveals his true colors, and then he actually just takes them all out one bullet at a time, and then he kind of. Maybe he even takes the credit for it too. Maybe he even actually takes the credit for all that too, because he's the one bringing them together and actually bringing them under his hood. And then he makes them wear Red Hood's suit. He gives them this kind of trust in him, and then he actually makes them kind of adopt his kind of insignia and everything. So then he kind of makes them trust him, and then when the time comes to push and shove and everything, then he does the pushing and the shoving. So yeah, but still fairly kind of intriguing beginnings for him, where he's actually pulling in criminals like this. I think yeah, definitely holding a grudge towards the Titans and towards Batman and everything, because I think he was actually watching the news as the news reported that after Batman left, the Titans had actually come to Gotham too. So I think it's very interesting knowing how the public and the press kind of react to these kinds of people, like Batman just up and leaves, but then the Titans are coming in, so then the Titans are like a known supergroup and everything, and they're hugely respected and kind of like receiving of San Francisco's kind of attitude back there. But then Gotham too, I think also very apt that Dick does warn all of them when they're in the Batcave for the first time. This isn't San Francisco. This isn't San Francisco, where things are kind of relatively easier and breezier. But this is Gotham. Gotham is where even heroes come to die. Like Gotham is where people come to die. I think, honestly, right, it reminds me. I used to. I think it was way before Arrow even ended. But it was way before Arrow even ended. But I used to have like this kind of like this thing I have with some TV shows where I actually kind of just kind of go back for nostalgia's sake and watch clips from older seasons on YouTube, and Arrow was one of them, like a long while ago. And then one of the clips I saw was actually the Flash and Arrow working in Star City for the first time, and Barry being Barry, him being from Central City, which is arguably much more vibrant and positive and colourful. But then him coming to Star City for the first time, and then Oliver warns him, like, I know you're used to working in the upbeat positiveness that's the Central City, but then Star City is meaner and it's grittier and everything. And then I remember reading the comments of that video, and people just kind of mocking the crap out of Oliver, being like, Oliver saying Star City is meaner and grittier, and then Batman just kind of comes swinging in through the window, being like, come to Gotham, then we can start talking about meaner and grittier. So, Gotham is known to be hell on earth and to be, it's why Gotham has the Batman. Gotham is, the place where criminals roam the streets, but then they're all afraid of Batman too. Well, the lower level ones are, the higher level ones are the more prominent and more popular kind of villains just kind of hate Batman because he stands against them, but then they also, they fear their plans being botched by him, I reckon, but then not actually him himself, because then that would probably show weakness. But yeah, Gotham, it's a very aptly placed kind of warning to, be careful, because Beast Boy, Starfire maybe, and Hawk and Dove maybe too, but then Superboy also maybe. But I think some of these characters is again, it's like, I don't know what it is. I just can't imagine such positive, like the more positive person. Like, I just can't imagine the characters with the more positive or prominently bubbly kind of personalities actually blending in well with Gotham. Like Gotham is like, you know, like Nightwing fits into Gotham because he's darker, grittier, and occasionally wittier too, as we've seen in the season so far. And Starfire perhaps too. You know, Hawk and Dove definitely like the human ones who have to fight to actually stay alive and everything, like the ones with no powers. You know, Dick, who's been trained by Batman himself, he could definitely stand a fighting chance. Starfire has powers, she could do it. I mean, I think by that logic too, Superboy and Gar could easily do it too. But I don't know what it is. Still, I think because of that, I'm most interested to see how Gar and Connor react to the various elements of Gotham City that this season might introduce to them, and how they actually fit into that kind of climate, and seeing how they react to all the stuff going on. Because again, I think Gotham can get dark, and this show in itself is meant to be like a much more mature and grittier take on the Titans. And I mean, if you're bringing them into Gotham, then you know I mean, obviously you got to know when to pull your stops, but then at the same time, it's like, you know, you got to give them something that really kind of shakes them to their core and makes them reevaluate their kind of perspectives on humanity and everything. So yeah. And I think one interesting thing that actually caught my attention, I don't know if this was actually, I trust that this has to be a reference to the comics in some way, but one thing that caught my attention was them saying that Joker actually started out wearing a red hood. So I think I've never known Joker to wear any kind of hood at all, be it red or otherwise. I've always kind of known him by his iconic kind of purple jacket and the clown makeup and the green hair and everything. I've never known him or seen him to wear it. I actually might look that up. I'm curious to know what that actually looks like. Joker in a red hood. Joker, I think he has a red suit. Okay. I think I've actually seen this somewhere before. I think I vaguely recognize seeing that appearance somewhere before. Batman 3 Jokers, issue number 1. Huh. Okay, I vaguely remember, I think it's mostly actual pictures of Red Hood, but I very vaguely remember seeing this picture somewhere before, especially because it has a smile at the bottom, because it has his kind of classic kind of, very, very kind of toothy and grin, like his very, very toothy Joker grin at the actual bottom of the mask. So yeah, actually I think it's like a hood, and like he has a cape and the bow tie and everything, but then he actually has it looks like a red bucket. It looks like a red bucket over his head. So so Joker actually used this. I do wonder if maybe Red Hood, like himself, like, you know, Jason being directly killed by the Joker. Maybe if like he had if like almost every aspect of his identity as Red Hood is actually symbolic to the Joker himself too. Like, you know, he becomes Red Hood, and I mean, like Jason knew of Joker. Jason knew about Joker to the point where he actively wanted to hunt him down and kill him and everything, and he disobeyed his orders. I think you trust that. You know, I think also Batman would absolutely train his allies to know the deepest and darkest kind of histories of their enemies and everything, to make sure they knew exactly what they were going up against. So without a doubt, Jason would know this. I think, you know, the character of Red Hood definitely does then seem to be kind of crafted off of some sense of symbolism and some sense of actual kind of homage, like some kind of twisted homage to the Joker too. Like, he tried to kill Jason and he failed, and then Jason came back with a very, very visual kind of vengeance. So that is cool. So Joker used to wear it. So I think he mentioned that that's how Joker started out his career as a criminal. So yeah, and I think it's definitely a pretty comic accurate experience, comic accurate appearance too for Red Hood himself. Like, he has that like the actual helmet really matches the if I just type in Red Hood and actually get something for that. The actual helmet itself matches, and the jacket, and I think this one, I think he actually has like an actual hood too, so that's cool. And just using I think he used one pistol in this, but I think he does typically dual wield his pistols too. So yeah, and even like the actual Titans promotional thing for season 3, it looks just so fucking badass. It did look so cool. So yeah, so agile and so kind of fit, and, you know, just well made and everything. So that just looks so cool. That looks beyond cool. So yeah, that'd be just more homage to the Joker than I was actually anticipating. So that's cool. So yeah, I mean, he was using, I think, Jason himself. I think he kind of has he has extensive knowledge of context. I think if he is using other people to do these things, I think it's only fair to say that he's also using other people and the resources they have to make stuff like the bombs and the chemicals and all the all the poisons and everything too. So like with Aaand too, the phone call induced kind of poison that made her snap her own neck too. Like the poison, the delivery system, and all the number etching and everything. I feel like that stuff, the bombs, like Jason has like an extensive knowledge of who to contact and who to draw into his traps and who to use and who to expel and everything. So I think he's actually again it's like Scarecrow actually said, like he is sending all these pawns to the teeth of destruction. He's using criminals and he's using innocent people too, but then I think the innocent people were then also explicitly kind of kept safely under the actual bank, and then he kind of deliberately used all the gunmen to do the bank robbery stuff and stuff. I think eventually his plans are leading to him actually kind of wiping out the criminals that were like once he's done with them, or once he decides the time is right, that he actually does take them all out on his own and actually show them that he was never on their side to begin with. And everything, so yeah, but then he is using other people who know what they're doing, and he's kind of like bartering them into his own kind of deals and his own kind of trust and everything. So there's that. But then I think there was also like a line he had in that final scene, when Dick asked him who he was, and he actually told him, someone they can run to when you let them down. So again, I think it's needless to say he does feel betrayed by Bruce. He does feel betrayed by other times. What feels different there, I think it's definitely like the time. I think it's definitely like that time, because I think what might have worked for the original Jason Todd story was maybe the fact that like there was actually a note, like maybe I think again haven't read the comics, but I think in Arkham at least, I think in Arkham it was like a number of years. It was like an actual number of years. I think because Jason was, I think Dick was his first one, then Jason was his second one, and then Tim Drake. So it was like after he died, then. Like he came back. He came back years later. This is almost this is a damn near immediate return. So then I'm wondering exactly how that's going to influence like how the characters react to that kind of thing. Because for them it's just gonna be like, wait, he was dead like 2-3 nights ago, and now all of a sudden he's back and stuff like that. Because then they immediately react like he's literally kind of rising up again like a darker Jesus. So. Yes, but then I think with like the way the original story runs, I feel like what makes the reveal and the kind of return and that kind of emotional impact work is the amount of time that's actually passed. Then Batman is forced to think that Jason is dead for years before he actually does manage to recruit and train train Tim to be the next Robin and everything, and then that happens, and then Jason sees, and then he actually like over the years he discovers exactly how Batman moves on from grieving to recruiting to training to mentoring and everything, and then over that time it kind of gets drilled into him more and more just how much Bruce has left him behind and everything and stuff. So then I think that makes one day if Bruce is actually going to return in this series, because then I feel like it won't have the same impact if Jason doesn't get to meet Bruce again as a Red Hood, and then maybe like that kind of interaction never happens, and it's just solely between him and the Titans. But I mean, needless to say, I'm still excited to see how that turns out. But I think it's just some of these story aspects being modified or taken out just kind of makes me curious and intrigued and anxious to see just how impactful it still can be, and how impactful it still is, and how they can still make it work despite what they're changing. So yeah, because then I feel right, like if Jason dying like this could have been a season finale, and then in the season premiere there's a bit of a time jump, at least like half a year, like if not a full year then half a year at least, and then that's when we see the team discovering this news, and then after that that's when stuff comes down. So in that way they're actually given like an appropriate amount of time, because then again now this still feels like super immediate too. Like again for Dick, it's not been like more than 3 days, probably not more than 3 days, or like a week at most, 3 days at least, and then all of a sudden Jason is still back and stuff. So and I think again I think that then makes my complaint about my like kind of criticism about the kind of lack of emotional kind of mourning and like emotional kind of quality behind the mourning, if you can call it that, all the more kind of maybe invalid, because of the fact that like they're not really given the time, because then they have all these other questions that keep rising up, and then Dick has to kind of sort out Bruce, and then all these other things keep happening and everything. So I think the one thing that does work is the fact that they all still genuinely believe he's dead. But then, like, you know, had it been for longer, then it would have made the return all the more kind of impactful. But either way, I'm sure it'll still work. I'm sure it will still work. But yeah, no, I think he is definitely shaping up to be a very interesting kind of character so far. So I'm very good. I think, and especially now that, you know, like now that Dick himself knows that Jason is alive and he is the Red Hood. Like, not only is he alive, but he's also the Red Hood. I am all the more curious as to how he might actually broach that topic to the team and how he might formulate plans with them. And if he's going to tell Barbara too, then that's going to need to happen. So yeah. So yeah, then we had Barbara introducing Dick to the GCPD's consultant. So we had Scarecrow coming in, Dr. Jonathan Crane, and yeah, I mean, I'm not really used to seeing Scarecrow in anything other than his classic ensemble and his actual Scarecrow hood and everything, and also character familiarity from Arkham Knight 2. Arkham Knight is honestly such a great game, story-wise and character-wise. It's just such a fun experience to play, such a great experience and really fun game to play. So Scarecrow and Red Hood were like the two more prominent kind of villains in that game, and they worked together in that. So I think so with this one, I mean, Barbara did say that, you know, like for these kinds of cases too, where the criminal is a lot trickier and they're a lot kind of more manipulative and a lot more calculated too, they actually use a consultant who's used to kind of entering other people's minds and seeing how they work and things like that. And that consultant was in fact Scarecrow, so then that kind of information did not really kind of comfort Dick in the slightest. But then the even trickier twist comes in when she reveals that it was actually Bruce's idea to use him, and Bruce being Bruce, I think it makes sense that he would not only want to lock up the criminals, but then I think Bruce being Bruce, like he would also, I think it definitely feels like he would also, like, maybe reluctantly so, but then he'd also kind of see the value in actually temporarily trusting a criminal under certain conditions and under certain circumstances, like actually following the mentality of, like, think like a criminal to catch a criminal, think like the criminal you're hunting to catch them, and actually see how they work and everything. So then he would use someone who knows how to mess with people's minds and exploit fears and do all that kind of jazz. So then it was Bruce's idea to actually call in Scarecrow while keeping him under lock and key at Arkham and everything, and actually just kind of like goading information out of him from there. So that's cool. But yeah, apparently he gets paid in weed too. He doesn't get paid in actual, I think he doesn't get paid in actual money, I don't think, but he, you know, he needs like stress relievers and stuff in prison and stuff that slows his mind down, so then he gets paid with weed. And I think I think because of the fact that because of how unlikely I fully believe it is that Dick would randomly have ingredients for like joints and roll-ups in his pocket. I fully kind of believe and know that Barbara must have sent him along and be like, you know, oh, by the way, we pay him with this kind of stuff, so just kind of take it in there with you and it'll be fine. So then he actually does ask for weed in exchange for the information. So yeah, he you know, does that stuff, and then yeah, he actually did kind of teach him about the chess thing. So I think, yeah, I mean chess too. I think because knowing exactly what Bruce is like he doesn't believe in just physical peak of performance, but he also very much believes in mental peak, actually thinking at your brightest and your highest and your fastest and your smartest and everything. Like, he believes in literally performing your enemies in every last kind of capacity you can think of, so that you can actually be better than them, you can beat them at their own games, you can do whatever and everything. So then it makes sense that, you know, like makes sense that with like Red Hood using all these chess moves, it would be because, you know, Bruce taught Jason how to play chess. He's taught him all these different kind of theory things, like the art of war and all these different kind of mental states to master and all these different mentalities to kind of process and everything. And also, like, chess being the game of manipulators and, you know, like all these different kinds of like mental kind of mental masterminds, pretty much. You know, makes sense he would actually teach Jason some like different methods of attack and defense and, you know, strategy and everything. So then Jason actually employs those exact same tactics against Gotham and actually against the police force, and using that to trick people and do all sorts of stuff. So Crane kind of senses this all from the case file he's been given by the PD and everything, so he kind of knows exactly, like, he's already kind of done his own kind of predetermined kind of speculation pretty much of his own kind of the case of his own time. So he is proving to be helpful so far. He's proving to be helpful, and he doesn't really ask for much in return. But I think it does. I think now seeing this again, it does make me all the more curious. Because then I am I don't know how likely it is, but I do wonder if we're gonna get like a Red Hood and Scarecrow team up in this, or maybe if he's actually gonna help break Scarecrow out of Arkham, or what's gonna happen. I mean, I'm mostly wondering how far Jason / Red Hood is actually going to kill, is going to actually like how far he's going in order to actually kill the criminals, like how far he's willing to go to trust them and to enlist them and to kind of get their kind of allegiance before he actually does do the Red Hood thing and simultaneously off them. So very curious to know how Scarecrow kind of fits into the rest of this, if it's just actually offering them more clues or more tips or more kind of analysis on how Red Hood works, or if he's actually going to try and do some kind of Scarecrow thing somewhere down the line and things like that. So yeah, I am curious. And then yeah, we had Hank and Dawn, or Hank and Dove, technically Hank and Dove. Dawn was still suiting up as Dove in Washington. Like they went back to Washington. Well, Dawn says that Hank followed her back to DC after Donna's death, so that kind of makes sense. So then but then Hank, I think Hank being the one having trouble and actually having issues with suiting up again, and Dawn just loving the superheroing and still kind of being passionate about actually fighting as Dove. She had no problem with it, so then Hank instead opted to become, I think he called it something in the episode like a pursuit and arrest. I think he said pursuit and arrest or pursuit and charge or something like some kind of bicycle cop, some kind of cop with short shorts and bicycle kind of thing. And he even had a mustache. He was sporting like a nice bushy kind of mustache too. So just go the whole way with that look and everything. So he still wanted to try and do some good. Still wanted to play on the good side and actually try and kind of arrest bad guys and do the whole kind of crime fighting thing, but just like in another kind of uniform and not the actual kind of bulky padded kind of bird costume and everything. So yeah, but then he was still kind of being assisted by Dove in other ways, and as well like her still showing up in broad daylight with the suit and actually helping him stop people and stuff like that. So that was cool. But then they both kind of delegated themselves back to Gotham. I hope I'm using that word right. But they both moved back to Gotham too. I mean, well, Dawn moved first, and then Hank followed her back too. So it seems like he's still kind of like willing to go wherever she is and willing to kind of do whatever she does. But then now in this episode, we did see him kind of actually being willing and ready to actually step back into the booth again. I think it also helps that he is around the team again. He is with the Titans again. It's not just being Hawk and Dove. It's actually being one with the team again. So that definitely helps. And he did acknowledge that like back then he did kind of have his issues and he did have his kind of setbacks and hesitations when suiting up as Hawk again, but now he's like, what, if you're gonna Dove, I'm gonna Hawk. If you're gonna be a part of this team and actually fight with them, then I am too. So I'm very interested to see what Hank's development in this kind of season is, because I feel like everyone was thrown about a bit for season 2 with Deathstroke and everything, but then personal dilemmas came in, but they didn't really interweave it as well as I actually thought they would for a lot of them. So yeah, so with this one, I'm hoping that Hank can still kind of figure himself out and figure out exactly where he stands on being Hawk. But then for now, I think him being able to actually suit up as Hawk and still perform well enough to do the job and actually still be part of the duo and be part of the Titans is still like a refreshing kind of thing too. And I love his reunion once he's in the cave too. Like he's actually just actively hugging it out with Corey and because they're great friends and everything, and then actually shaking hands with Dick and everything, and then Dawn is just the one who's just kind of just like unbelievable that he's actually here and he's followed her to Gotham and everything. So good to see he's actually still one with the team too. Like him and Corey still just happy as ever to see each other, and then him and Dick still great buddies. I think him and Dick, Hank and Dick, honestly, since season 1 they had like a very rocky beginning because of how things had ended and stuff. And I think season 1 and I think season 2, I feel like season 2 was like the one season where they might have had like a bit of a happy moment together, but then even then that was just kind of, that was still thrown out the window. So I think I'm still waiting on like some kind of friendship between Hank and Dick, and this season, honestly, this episode so far seems to be like this one, like that kitchen scene in this episode seems to be like throughout the entire series so far, that one kitchen scene seems to be their most kind of positive and upbeat and, you know, uplifting kind of scene between them, and even the ending, be like, we're gonna get the guy who's doing this shit, and we're gonna get him together. So, you know, chin up, amigo, try and actually be more positive. So, like him actively trying to uplift Dick, and actually keep him in high spirits. Like it's honestly the most positive I've seen, but it's the most positive and most kind of upbeatness I've seen between them throughout the entire series. So season 3 is already giving me high hopes. Season 3 is already giving me high hopes for the good to come. But yeah, Hank is back with the team. He is back in Hawk and everything. So Hawk and Dove have returned. So I am curious to see how they. I'm curious to see how much more they approach these kind of superhero IDs now that they're about to find out the truth as well, that Jason is not only alive. Especially with Hank having said what he said, Jason is not only alive, but he is also Red. He is also the one terrorizing the city. So yeah. And we saw Corey having more of the same visions, more of the same kind of visions of being carted along on a trolley and dudes in goggles and masks and shit actually cutting off. So I definitely get more premonition vibes from that. I feel like it almost has to be premonition vibes, because I think if it was, I don't know. I mean, it could be past stuff. I think it could be a mixture of both. But I think I personally have stronger feelings towards premonition vibes and premonition kind of visions and everything, like that stuff that could happen maybe days or weeks or months from now or something. So, you know, like I feel like those visions are good. I think the visions we've had before are past visions, like the visions that we've seen her having before are more like actual dreams when she's asleep and everything, and that's been from her past of her crashing down and her being on Tamaran and everything. So with this one, I genuinely get more, and also because it seems to still look like it's actually based on her, so I feel like that's more likely to be an actual premonition kind of thing. So she's still having those dreams, and I think I like that she is also kind of confiding in Justin. I think even the first episode, like having Justin coming back, it took me a while to recognize it too, because I'm pretty sure last season he had shorter hair, or he had like no facial hair or something. I think he looked different from last season. So I couldn't initially recognize him, but then after a while I was like, oh, it's the guy that she actually hooked up with at like that kind of fancy kind of hotel kind of place before she got the message from Rachel. So yeah, it's cool they actually brought him back, and him being a therapist too, like he's kind of equipped to deal with, like, or at least to the best of his ability, he's equipped to deal with the kind of problems she has, and she's still confiding in him, and she's still kind of telling him what's what, so that's fun. But I mean, I guess I can definitely kind of foresee that he's going to have his own kind of set of setbacks and struggles in helping her, because the fact that, you know, he said he would prescribe her medication if things got worse or if they persisted, but then, you know, she's an alien, so I think there's only really so much that man-made and human-made medications can do for an alien. So yeah, I think also like, I think because they're premonitions, I feel like those are meant to happen too. Like it's not meant to be something that she stops, because then if she stops them, then she can't really see them or foresee the future anymore. So I feel like it's just like a message that the future is warning her of, so she has to actually pay attention and actually concentrate on stuff. So in time she'll learn this, in time she'll figure this out, and in time she'll actually understand what it all means. But I think the equally interesting thing is also that, you know, like when she goes into that vision state too, and her eyes glow like her usual green when she's using her powers, she also, I think this time we actually had her we saw the perspective of it from outside too. So like, you know, like Connor and Gar in the kind of library section of Void Manor, and Connor making food using the books and everything, and just them kind of goofing around and everything, and then all of a sudden Corey walks past like babbling in like another language, and I think that does kind of, I think that feels like it definitely has to be like Tamaranian, maybe like her switching back to her mother tongue and everything, and still being in like a vision state, and then her just kind of walking around the house, walking to the kitchen and everything, and then as soon as like Connor's voice becomes more as soon as Gar's voice becomes more distracting and more present, she turns around and tries to set him on fire and everything. So I feel like with the first episode, that must have been what happened too, like her actually kind of going into that vision trance, and her just, you know, almost reminiscent of like sleepwalking, and then her actually walking out of Titan's Tower, just babbling in, just speaking in Tamaranian, and then actually walking out to the middle of the road. So then, I mean, I guess it's lucky then that she didn't actually try and, like, because then like walking out into traffic, there were definitely car horns that would have easily been distracting. But then I'm guessing it's kind of a good thing that she didn't really activate her powers much there yet, and didn't actually try and set a car on fire or anything. So it seems to have been reserved for this one episode where it was in like a controlled environment with two people who knew what she could do and everything. So that's awfully convenient. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely connected to her acknowledgement of her powers getting weird. Like the season finale for season 2 did kind of have her acknowledging that Rachel's powers were getting stronger, but then hers were getting weirder. So maybe this is actually like an element of that too. Like her before she could only actually see into the past and see where she came from and who she was, but then now she's actually kind of seeing into the future and discovering the threats ahead and discovering like what could be coming for them and what she personally has to look out for and try and avoid. So I think she sees herself on a stretcher being carted off by weird scientist-looking dudes. So she has to avoid all of that from happening. So she has to figure out what leads her there and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, Corey and Justin. So yeah, I mean, there doesn't really see. I mean, I guess it's like I guess it's a good thing. But I think I know in the comics, Dick does have romances with both Barbara and Corey too. Starfire and Barbara have at separate times obviously been well, not obviously, but I mean, they've both at separate times been kind of separate love interests of his. So, and I think I think they definitely explored with those pictures that Dick definitely does have like a history with Barbara. I think he even kind of subtly kind of mentioned it with Hank too, and Hank was like, "Oh, sure, things are okay, sure." He's like just kind of playfully teasing and everything. So there's already like some sense of like an actual human history between him and Barbara. But then season 1 and season 2, I feel like did a pretty great job. I mean, they hooked up in season 1 like halfway through it, so. From then on to it's been like a pretty kind of solid kind of ship of some kind between him and Corey and like him and Starfire. So I think that's also something that fans who have actually consumed previous material will actually recognize and kind of respect as kind of actual canon kind of relationship building. So I think I trust that they won't try and make it like a love triangle thing where like they're gonna make him fight for their attention or they're gonna fight for his attention. I think it's gonna have to be like a kind of respected and well kind of crafted kind of thing of like of who he did, like who he does go with, or if he does actually go with anyone. But I think with this one we haven't been seeing too much interaction between him and Corey. I think with this season with them bringing Barbara back in, I think it's definitely a chance for Dick to explore his Gotham roots and for him to actually be working with like an old friend again. But then with this one, as we see from the bank failure, then from the bank robbery failure, Barbara has to remain professional, and they have to actually kind of maintain that kind of side to them and not let personal stuff get in the way. So then she has to be like, you failed here, and it makes me because I was worried the entire time if that bank job got botched, then it would just be like a terrible rep for the actual commissioner herself. So then it makes sense that she would actually then kind of have to ask the Titans to step down and actually leave all the kind of crime fighting to the GCPD. So yeah, so Trouble in Paradise for Barbara and Dick. So I mean, not to say that that's going to make him rebound on not saying that means he's going to rebound onto Corey in any way, but I think it definitely feels like they are going to kind of set up individual problems between the two of them, between Barbara and Dick, and between Corey and Dick too. But yeah, I'm not too sure as to what direction they might end up going with. I think I don't even really have any kind of choices as to who I do want to see him with. Just as I think I definitely want to kind of wait until we progress further and see more kind of screen time between them all. So yeah, but yeah, I mean with Justin in the picture too, I feel like it might not get that serious with Justin. That I feel like Corey might not just be interested in him just because of his help and his expertise, but I feel like Corey might not really be kind of too interested in actually pursuing an actual relationship with him, or might not be interested in anything long term. But then she might also not really know how to break that to him, or might kind of have trouble breaking it to him. So I'm curious as to where all these I'm curious as to what directions all these things kind of go in. So yeah, it'll be fun to see though. It'll be very fun to see. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've picked up from this. I think a lot of it I didn't really feel too reaction worthy. I think in terms of this being more like psychological origins and the more kind of story origins for Red Hood, it definitely kind of felt more like somewhat more like an episode to be engrossed in, but it still felt just like a great continuation and great kind of introduction to who Red Hood is and exactly what kind of new kind of face and new kind of persona that Jason is actually going to be adopting here. So I am very, very intrigued to actually go into this and keep going into this and see what more there is. So yeah, I can't wait to get into episode 3 next time. But until then, that is it. That is pretty much all my kind of initial thoughts on this episode. So it's been fun, been real fun. But yeah, that was Titan Season 3, Episode 2. So as always, thank you guys so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Titan Season 3 and what you're looking forward to seeing on the rest of the season. Once again, if you want to catch the full-length version of the reaction, then that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So, I will see you guys next time.